Just to kind of talk about that offensive performance, another kind of strange game for you guys, but another productive one.
It was a good game. I love it. Anytime Coach Fountain wants to score 2 touchdowns, I'm all in. Our special teams were great all day, and I think that really helped us offensively. Obviously, not just scoring 2 touchdowns, but they set us up with really good field position several times. I was proud of our guys the way they were able to finish off those good opportunities. We had a great punt return early. We had the kickoff return for half. Those kind of things, give your offense momentum. I thought overall our guys did a really good job. We were physical. I was really proud of our wide receivers, and in particularly, you've got Sammy Coates, who's been catching a lot of balls, and yet he springs a couple of those touchdown runs. Playing without the ball, being unselfish. You got Trevon Reed, Quan Bray, Ricardo Lewis, CJ, those guys out there doing whatever it takes to, spring the ball carrier. And we were running the ball so well, and they were a big part of that. And then, you can't say enough about Jay Prosh. I mean, he's as good a fullback as there is anywhere in the country, and he makes a lot of things go that maybe the average fan doesn't see. But I can tell you this, if we didn't have Jay out there, a lot of people would notice some differences. So overall, I was proud. Turnovers weren't good. Can't turn the ball over on the road and expect to win very often, but we were able to overcome those this time.
What did you see from Nick as far as, obviously, they seemed a lot faster, especially the outside, outran a lot of guys that they had spying?
Yeah, I mean, Nick, he was playing really well. I mean, he has a great feel for the things we're doing. He makes some things right every now and then, and he played really hard, played determined, he ran hard, he protected the football when he was running, I thought, really well. That's been a big point of emphasis. I know he's taken a lot of pride in. And like I said, I thought he started the game well. I mean, he was 3 of 4 with a touchdown, and the one he was incomplete, I think, was a drop. So I thought he came out playing well and really played well throughout the whole game.
Was there anything he was doing in the running game that was markedly better than he was before? Obviously, he had been doing well in the read option for several games.
Yeah.
But when he was as productive as he just was, he almost set the school record for running by a quarterback. So
yeah.
Was there anything he was doing?
No, not really anything different. He got a few more opportunities to keep the ball. I don't know if it's because of the way Trey's played the last few weeks or not, but, for whatever reason, he had a good feel on some of them, but they were overplaying Trey a little bit. He was keeping the ball, but what he did really well is, when it was there, he showed a good burst on a couple of those runs. And then a lot of times there was a free hitter, a safety or an outside backer, and he just made a miss or outran him. And so, when they do that, we feel like if you can get Nick one-on-one with somebody in space, we're going to win more of those battles than we're going to lose. But no, I just thought he ran hard, and maybe he just got more opportunities to keep the ball than he has been.
How much of his lack of throwing in the last couple of games has been by design, and how much of it's just been because you're running so well?
You know what? If we throw it 7 or 9 times the rest of the way, we're going to be winning games. I mean, because what that means is we're running the football and nobody's stopping it. So, the other day, I think we averaged 8 or 9 yards a carry, and after the first couple drives, we ran a couple runs, and he pulled a few, and Trey hit a few, and just from that point on, we were rolling pretty well. So there was it would probably have been poor coaching to start doing something other than what was working, really. So there was no design to run it as much as we did, other than it was what was working. It's what we stuck with. And, we just feel like that's a good thing.
Still, you and Gus talk so much about balance, and when you have the lowest passing production ever by a Gus offense in college, probably going back to Shiloh and Springdale and Hughes or something. So when you want balance, as well as you were doing it, just to throw them off a little bit, or even early before it gets out of hand.
Balance is taking what the defense gives you, plain and simple. And just about every time we called a run, we were getting 8 to 12 yards of play. So, like I say, it goes back to me. There's a couple of times that you find yourself saying, okay, let's throw it this down. And you bring up a good point. Hey, let's throw them off or something. But you throw someone off when they're onto you, or when they're stopping what you're doing. Or, you achieve balance when they are stopping what you're doing in the run game. Now I've got to throw it to stay balanced, so now they can back up and we can run it more. The way we were running the ball, there was no need to do anything other than run the ball. I mean, it was just that plain and simple.
What's the fewest passes you ever threw in a game?
I don't know. I think 12.
Oh, okay.
I think I threw 12. Maybe wrong. Brandon can probably fix that. I believe it was 10 to 12 one game, and I don't know.
Also, I don't want you to give away any secrets, but with the zone read, just talk a little bit about how the way you guys block things differently to kind of,
Yeah.
I guess, maybe confuse the linemen to where it's not the same thing?
There's different ways you do it. There's several variations. It all goes back to, you know, right now, Nick has a good feel for it. Bottom line, I mean, you can put in certain situations and you try to get in certain formations and things to get looks and things you want or matchups you want, but at the end of the day, those guys got to go out there and do it. And when our line does what they're doing, you know, covering up everybody, getting a lot of movement and push, we got a guy like Jay who can do all the things he can do. And then, you know, Nick and Trey and Cam and those guys, they've got a good feel for things right now. And like I said, you got a guy who feels it and reads it really well, and that's what makes it go.
Did Jay hurt his nose yesterday or something? He just seemed bloody or dirty or something.
Yeah, he got smoked on one of the drives. I think the guy got his hand up in his face mask, and he was bleeding pretty good. He came out, looked like he'd been in a boxing match, but Jay's so tough, he was in like 2 or 3 plays later. I don't remember how many it was. And I'm just telling you, we knew it going into the year, and we said it a lot of times, but just to the average fan, you know, you may not see Jay. He's caught 1 touchdown, he's caught a few balls, I mean, but I'm just telling you, Jay makes a lot of things right.
What has kind of been, in your mind, the difference in the first 4 games and now the last 6? I mean, you know, the stats are just, you know, they just kind of speak to themselves, but
Yeah.
really running the ball, best off since they'll start winning again after the LSU game, best running game in college football right now. So, can you speak to that?
Yeah, I think there's probably several things. One, I said it last week, I think someone asked what's the best thing. Confidence. Our guys are confident. And it happened, it doesn't just happen overnight, you know. I mean, I think they gained a little bit in the spring and the summer, but, you know, you find a way to beat a Washington State team early in the year in a tight game when things are unsure. New staff, all those, we win that game. You know, the comeback against Mississippi State was really big. You know, I've heard a lot of people say, hey, the way we fought in the second half at LSU, probably a lot to that. You know, you win a close game against an Ole Miss. Those things all add up. And it was, you know, I mean, it was just a situation where you have a couple things go your way, your guys gain more confidence each time to at some point they start expecting to win. And I feel like our guys play with a lot of confidence. I think the other thing is we've just had more, obviously, reps and all those things, but we've had more time with the guys. We feel like we know what they do well, what they don't, you know, the situations to put them in. And so just the more and more you do it, the more of a team they become, the better they play together, the more on the same page they are, as well as us with them. So I think it's probably a combination of those things.
Obviously, very different, you know, having Cam Newton, you know, rushing for 1,000 yards, and Nick's approaching that right now. Haven't seen that a lot in this offense. What kind of extra dynamic does that add to the offense? And it just seems that whenever you have a guy that can run the ball, you guys have been much more successful in the offense.
Well, I kind of somewhat disagree. I mean, we've had plenty of years where we've had 5,000-yard passers and 45 and 50-yard touchdown passers. I mean, you know, what we really like to do is we have our core system, but then we like to play to the strengths of our players. And when we have a guy that is dynamic and can do both, then we're going to do that. And obviously Cam was that. Nick has proven he can be that to some degree. And, you know, I think anytime, but definitely right now in the kind of the climate we're in football, a dual threat or a quarterback that can hurt the defense with his feet is giving defenses problems. And it should. I mean, because in essence, you're gaining a blocker on a lot of things in the run game. And then even on pass plays, when things break down, they can't just worry about covering people, or if they blitz and they get a guy free, but you got a guy back there athletic who can make him miss and then keep the play alive. I mean, those are things that frustrate defensive coaches and defenses because they may be in the right spot, but you still convert. So, you know, last year we had a guy in Ryan Applin who could make plays with his feet, could definitely keep plays alive, but he was more of a pure passer. And we played more to those strengths, and we were able to win the conference. So I think it's just a matter of trying to take what our guy can do and build around those.
You guys have really only had